Hey, hey, how's it going? If you're new here, my name is Jan and I love makeup. And if you're not new, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate you. Today's video is episode 41 in the Throwback Thursday series I'm doing using old makeup. Not oogie old, just not talked about old. So if you want to see what I'm using today and what I come up with, stick around, we're going to get into it. The technicalities of this video are going to be a little bit tricky, and I'll get into that when I start doing my eyes, but I took 4 of my Natasha Denona 5-pan palettes, like the bigger size ones, and I put them in this Nomad empty palette. I mixed and matched some of them because there were a few shades that pretty much just made me mad when I tried to use them, so I omitted those. But there's a few in here I've never used. This one right here, which came from the Jubilee palette. This one right here, which came from, I can't remember. And I'm not one of those cool kids who has one of those little label makers or a memory to think, maybe you should write these down before you disassemble them. Yeah, nope, not that guy. I just went in and did this without any thought to having to reference back. So, I mean, if you've got an orange shade, a dark blue that, looks black, any of these shades, you could totally use them. It doesn't have to be this specific eyeshadow, which I guess is kind of the point of this series, like using stuff you already have, because why not? We bought it, we like it, let's use it. So that is what I'm doing today. So like I said, I'm going to use that dark blue shade and the orange shade. I think I'm probably going to use this shimmer right here, possibly this one or this one. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. It's still fall, so let's do a fall kind of look. I'm going to prime my eyes, put on some shadow shields, and I'll be right back and we can get this party started. All right, I primed my eyes, got the shadow shields on, and pulled my hair back. Zoomed you in, and we are ready to go. So I'm going to use my blinged brushes, number E14, which is weird because it's a letter and a number. Anyway, I'm gonna go into that dark blue shade, and I'm gonna use that on the outer portion of my lid up into my crease. I'm really excited to be trying out this eyeshadow today. I've wanted to use it for a long time and just never have. So I'm gonna focus on really packing that onto the outer portion of my eye. So what inspired this palette, or playing with these individual eyeshadows, I guess, is that my friend Shawnee does this a lot. She likes to play with individual shadows and she makes up her own palettes, and it's amazing. I've never done it before, but she was saying when she needs to relax, that's what she does. And generally speaking, if I need to relax, I clean or organize something. So last week, I cleaned all the things that I could possibly clean. I organized all the things that I could possibly organize, and I still needed a bit of a timeout. So I thought, hey, why don't I copy Kitty Shawnee and play with single eyeshadow palettes? I can depot them from their little palettes they came in and make my own. So that is what I did, which is really kind of exciting now because I would not have gotten this eyeshadow out. I really don't enjoy most of the shades in that palette. Mostly the limoncello shade made me mad. It does not look good on me. It barely showed up. It really annoyed me. So it made me not want to reach for that palette. So doing this and eliminating that shade has brought whole new life to these eyeshadows. Before I go in and blend that out, I want to use that like rust colored shade. And I'm gonna put that right up against it and up into my transition area. I absolutely love blue and orange together. I don't know if it's because I was a Gators fan when I was little, but there you have it. Okay, I'm just going to work on blending these two shades out, and then I'll come back and we can play with some of the metallic-y shades. Okay, I'm really excited with how that looks. Both of those eyeshadows blended out really, really nicely. Very little effort, which I was worried about the blue. I thought that might be tricky, but it's not at all. I think I'm going to start with this shade right here on the inner portion of my lid. So I'm just going to take my Dry Repher 21 and see what that looks like. Let's see if we can, I'm getting quite a bit of fallout. That's a bummer. That's really pretty though. I'm gonna wet my brush for the other side just so we can see if there's a difference in what it looks like wet compared to dry. Usually I prefer to wet my shimmers. Yep. It's very pretty either way, but wetting it, I didn't get fallout. Using it dry, I got fallout. Now I think I'm gonna go into this shade right here. It has a bit more copper. This one is a bit more red, and I don't think the red is what I want. I cleaned off that Repher 21, so it's still wet. And I'm gonna pat that on between the gold and the blue. Oh, that's pretty. That's really pretty. And I'm just going to drag it over the more orangey gold shade so you can't tell where one starts and the other one stops. Oh yeah. Okay, let's take off the shadow shield. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna go off camera, clean up the mess I made, throw on the rest of my face. I'll probably just use the same shades on my lower lash line, and then I'll come back and show you the final look. All right, I'm back, and that's the look done and dusted. Let's zoom in for a quick look at the eyes. And Kat's decided to join us and refuses to close the door. Awesome. Anyway, that wraps up episode 41, done and dusted. I am very excited. I'm so glad that I copycated Shani and put some of my less than reached for, less than favorite shadows into one so I can take them out and play with them and feel differently. So far, these are wearing beautifully. I'm so excited. What are you doing? He's trying to convince me he's starving to death. However, when I came in here, he had a bowl full of food. I'll be right with you. Take a chillaxative. All right. I better go before he decides to attack me because I haven't fed him in the last 2 hours. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Either way, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Be good and remember to be kind to you.